Okay, I
Super
think we're
roasted.
we're good to go, Renny.
All right. So yeah, this is the profession kind of breakdown, shenanigans, all that fun stuff for Dragonflight. Obviously, they're doing a massive overhaul of the system, and I like stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of break down some of the bigger changes that's going on. That way, you guys have kind of an idea, because there's a lot of things that you can do to not optimize it, your professions, and it's not as forgiving as talents. So the first thing we'll kind of go over, I guess, is I've got 5 characters that I've mostly been messing with: tailoring, leatherworking, smith, alchemy, engineer. Obviously, jewel crafting and inscription are important, but we'll kind of just touch on those because we don't have, all day.
Also, great mages.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I got to make sure that when I mess with it, it's good. Also, I apologize for some reason my push to talk is bound
All
to
right.
my
So yeah,
auto
this
run
is
on beta, and I haven't been able to fix it. So if you see me just running, yeah.
You will be judged.
So this is the new, pretty much like if you log in, pick up Dragon Isles tailoring. This is 100% just what you look like. It's new, it's fancy, it's got a couple different things and stuff that you kind of go over, but it doesn't really teach you what it is. Like, for example, what is inspiration? Well, you have a chance, and it'll kind of break it down 5% to craft this with bonus skill. What does that mean? Well, in Dragonflight, every item that you make comes with like a skill level that you can optimize it at. Let me actually swap over real fast because it's kind of hard to break it down based off of no uh, abilities to use. There we go. So this looks better. So this is max tailoring. So every item has a skill level that you want to be able to hit to be able to craft it at that particular item level or whatever you're trying to do based off the item. So for example, looking at gloves, 343. These are just meh gloves. I think this is supposed to be like going into heroic, like not heroic raid. I think heroic dungeon. Gotta double check and see what item level is. Okay, so that's just normal dungeon gear. And heroic is 359. So basically, you'll go into this, and we'll kind of break down how you get some of these items. For the most part, they haven't said what abilities are going to be part of the trainer and what is actually like world quest stuff. Um, it seems like it's going to be a bit random. The only exception is alchemy. Alchemy, if you liked going or the like random recipe route, you still learn a lot of your flasks and potions by doing that, just by crafting. So obviously, like I said, it gives you a breakdown. Recipe difficulty, how much skill is required to make this the highest quality. Quality is determined by whether or not you use different items. So, where is my silk? I've lost it. There it is. So there are different spools of, or different varieties of like crafting agents that you can use. In this particular case, I have quality 2, quality 3. I think they're going to buff it up a little bit because we're supposed to be able to make higher stuff, obviously, but we haven't been able to get to that point yet. But your skill changes depending on like what abilities you use. So right now I'm using 3. It gives me a skill of 245. If I
So
go to
that's
1,
item level skill.
So that's just for the item itself. So like it'll change based off of your quality. So say I put in, quality one spell thread. I drop my skill down to 230, and the item that I would make now is a 316 versus if I use all of the max level. Where'd it go? Oh, maybe I clicked on the wrong thing. It should change. It looks like it's actually capped at this. Hold on. Why is it saying that it's maxed? And bear with me a little bit. It seems like beta's been having some issues. They just fixed the crafting UI like this week. If you guys didn't see it last week, it was super broken. Oh, never mind. So I forgot that's what I did. So, kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown. There are two different things that we're looking at in this. Um, I specialized in gloves. That's why my item level for making gloves was so much higher. That's where I got a little bit confused. If I was to craft that, it's 343, which is like normal slash heroic dungeon. Everything else right now that I don't have points in is 316, 316, yeah. So it kind of varies based off of, like I said, putting in items and then this crazy specialization thing that we got going on.
The hell's that?
So this is how you make. Everybody basically in Shadowlands was able to make, just the base level stuff, with the exception of like you learned different, um, like the more you crafted stuff, the more, I guess you got ranks in it. This is kind of similar to that, except it's a little bit more flexible.
So is that more like a talent tree for your crafting?
Exactly. So it's a talent tree for like different aspects of like what you're crafting. So for tailoring, this is a talent tree just for making silk, or making spell threads and gathering cloth. This is just for making, um, oh, it looks like they changed this. Uh, oh, so this is for making cloth bolts. So basically, you specialize in this. Once you get it maxed out, if you're crafting cloth bolts, you'll craft like a bunch of them at one time. This is for making the special thread or special cloth that they have. So for tailoring in particular, we've got two different versions, Chrono Cloth and Azure Weave. If you played like back in the day, think of it as like Moon Cloth. It's basically you get to make it, but it's got like I think a 12-hour cooldown at rank 1, and then if you max it out, it's I think an 8-hour cooldown to craft it.
So do the points and all this to put into it just come from leveling, or you
So
just
right
gotta keep
now,
crafting?
so right now the only way you can get points is either crafting a brand new item, like something you've never crafted before, or there's going to be a couple points that you get from World Quest, and you can buy a book from Scribes. I think you can buy 3 books a week, and it'll just give you one knowledge.
My understanding is that you're going to want to craft at least one thing of every recipe to get that knowledge boosted. So make sure that when you learn a new recipe, you craft at least one of them.
Yeah, there's no like. So if you go through the normal like buffing up, trying to level up all of your stuff at the very beginning, there's no way to like max out tailoring right off the start. You're gonna sit at like 50, and that's pretty much okay. Um, it's kind of one of those things where you hit midway point, and then afterwards you're just gonna be building up small points at a time just by crafting more and more stuff. But you still want to craft literally 1 point of everything. So like I can craft this. I don't think I. Or let me craft this. And it should say. Yeah, so my first craft I got an artisan's metal, and I got one dragon crafting, or one dragon isles tailoring knowledge. So that bumped me up to 100. You don't get these points very often, obviously, since you're only using it for the one. Um, it's going to take a while just to get through these trees. And that's why I was kind of talking about, as of right now, there's no way to like refresh them or put points into something else. It seems like it's a permanent decision. So in this particular case, for this character, I was messing around with trying to figure out how to make the mythic item level gloves. And it seems like skill-wise for that, I had to put 30 points just in mastering, or just in additional skill for cloth armor, then put another 50 points in for getting 1 point in hand, feet, head, and back pieces. And then an additional 10 points just for making cloth hands. So that was 90 points right there. And I had to use the beta stuff for testing because there's no way I had 90 recipes that I could actually make. So that's like what I was talking about with you want to kind of pick and choose what you want to craft. There, you're not going to be able to max out the tree right away. And if you try and do like all of these at the same time, you're not going to get very far with it. You can do like maybe 10 points in each one, and you're not going to get any real bonus, just like little trickles here and there.
So you really have to just pick one and stick with that specialization.
Pretty much. They might add a way to do something to change stuff around or add points, but I don't think they want to quite yet, just so that people don't like try and cheese it. Like they craft the highest level gloves and then re-add their points somewhere else to make something new.
So, just curious, but in your experience in doing beta testing, how common is the cloth drops? Is it like they are now?
Yeah, they're kind of like everywhere. I find cloth all the time. You like other people pick it up. You can put points into this tailoring master. I think it's yeah, this one. So basically, if you max this out, you'll get, 50% more cloth drops.
Did you want to touch on recrafting a little bit?
I would, but I haven't really gotten recrafting to work. I know there's an option here. So, where is it? So I can take my items, put it in here. I think I kind of need it for like a lower quality one. So let me see if I've
Yeah.
got something that I can use.
Everything just looks so confusing. Just trying to
It-
figure it out.
Yeah, it looks really confusing, and at the upper end, if you hadn't done the lower end stuff, it would be. I'm sure that as we start leveling up in our separate professions, it'll introduce things slowly to us, so it doesn't just throw it all to us at once.
Okay, so here's an idea of what the recrafting stuff is. So I made quality 4 gloves. You can throw them in here, and as opposed to using all of the reagents that I had to before, which for these particular gloves, it's like a bunch of random stuff. All I needed to do was add some more thread in. I don't have enough bolts, but this is kind of just an example. And then I had to use one of these, which increases my skill by 3. So the recipe difficulty is 280 to make it at the max level. My current skill is 268. If I add this, it boosts me up to that. So I could technically craft this, and while it's 389 now it'd be a 392. It'd still be BOP for you. But that way, if you want to craft something, that's still an upgrade, just not the best. It doesn't like go to waste. You can just recraft it later once you have the stuff to make it at a higher item level. Kind of like I guess it's a nicer or a more user-friendly way than like the Dragonflight or not the Dragon, the Shadowlands legendaries, where you just had to keep recrafting and buying new ranks.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they have these artisans metal. These are mostly what I've seen drop from World Quests. And you get a couple from like the new crafts. So you'll get a bunch of these. You'll want to save some of them because I know they're going to be pretty big for work order stuff. But we haven't really had a chance to test a whole lot of it.
Now, the books you said you could get like for tailoring, from scribes, is it like say a book A, a book B, or and a book C, or are they all like a book A?
It should all be one book. I haven't seen what they're. I don't remember what they're called. It should just be like tailoring, Dragon Isles knowledge or something like that.
Okay,
But you can only use 3 of them a week, and then it just gives you 1 point.
gotcha.
So I think you guys may have seen in the past. I don't have all the stuff on this character, but they have the crafting profession gear. This is the gear you put on when you are actually doing your profession. It just gives you little bonuses, like this one's inspiration, multi-craft. So basically, inspiration, I have a 19% chance when I am inspired to craft this with 74 bonus skill. All that means is that, so say I don't put this in here that gives me max skill. I have a 20% chance when I craft this item of it just being crafted as if I had more skill points in this. So instead of 260, I think it'd be like 340 something. I don't think it max out the item level any more than that. But that's currently where it would, or that's currently how that works. Resourcefulness is just, you use fewer items. Crafting speed has no relevance into this, really. It's just how fast you craft it. And then, obviously, how hard it is to make versus what my current skill is. They have these different things. I haven't had a chance to mess with them too much. Like, these are how you make the mythic, or this is heroic item level, this is mythic item level gear. They haven't given us any of those items, so I'm not entirely sure where they come from, but that just increases the recipe difficulty from 280 to, what is it, 330?
Yes.
So that's how you'll make that. I think these are like missives. Yeah, so missives and Dragonflight are, you don't have to buy 2 of them, you just buy the one that gives you the 2 stats that you want. Depending on what it is, though. It'll make the recipe a little bit more difficult to make, just because you're, adding stats to it, I guess. I don't think the quality of missive is doing anything right now. I think it should give you like a little bit less skill. Or I'm sorry, either a little bit less stats or that makes it not as difficult to craft.
Oh, one thing I just noticed, if you go up to the filter menu up the top left there, when you click on that, down at the bottom of that menu, that's where you'll be able to choose your recipe source, whether it's Dragon Isles, Classic, Cataclysm, Burning Crusade, whatever. Just by default, when you open up the profession window, it's going to show you whatever the most current expansion stuff is. If you want to craft older stuff, you need to go there and choose the older stuff.
Yep. Same thing as well with this. If you are trying to look at like what items you need to craft to get that first time bonus for the knowledge and artisan's metal, which is an option right here. It'll just tell you what all you need to, or what all you can craft and still get that bonus. So, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of mess up the tree. I think all the trees are currently on Wowhead, so I'll throw a link up later, but I would highly advise if you're looking at like wanting to make, something in particular, or you're looking at making items or armor or weapons or whatever kind of suits your fancy. Maybe take a look at it first and kind of plan out how you want to do it. Obviously, you can throw in, anything you want and just kind of wing it. But it seems like it's not super friendly for getting that restarted.
There's no respec or anything.
No, as far as I've seen, there's no way once you put a point in to get your points back.
Have you done much in the way of engineering? I saw you had your Ren engine or something.
Yep. So I'm going to go over some of the more common professions. Like I said, I think the only one I don't have is inscription and what is it? Jewel crafting.
I was just wondering because in the past, leveling engineering has been like pulling teeth.
And so it's kind of the same. I mean, you just use, or you're just building a bunch of stuff. I will say engineering is more annoying because you need like a lot more stuff to build like just basics. There are these basic items.
Yeah.
Like you've got to build powder, you've got to build gears, you got to get bolts, and they all use different items.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same thing as well, like I was talking about. So with engineering especially, it's going to be more complicated because you have all these different quality of items that you're using. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can make, obviously. I don't think that there's anything online that shows you what you can make, so if you have like any questions. For engineers, the two, or I guess the main purpose for them outside of, um, what is it? They still have like the tinker augments that they can build or make. But they also make rest items now, and they can put basically these particular items on that. Think of it as like a wrist enchant and give it to another player. Versus engineers, they can use two currently. I think it's wrist and head, or wrist and goggles, whatever. Yeah, head item.
So I guess, at least with tailoring, but I guess it applies to any of them anyway. Let's say if you wanted to build if you wanted to do chest pieces for armor, you'd have to just go into that in one tree specifically. Otherwise, you're really just gonna limit yourself.
Yep. So you'll want to put just chest pieces in the armor. Otherwise, what you'll have to do is, because there's no way to really max out these trees just by yourself. I'm using like 3 different characters when Dragonflight launches that are basically all going to be tailors, just because my progression raider is tailing, or is cloth. But I mean, there's a couple different things that go into it as well. Like you got to think you could go into chest pieces as well, but chest is going to be a tier slot going into the expansion. So do you want to make, that and then not have a chance to actually use it yourself?
Are the tier sets going to be the same slots we had in Dragonflight?
Yeah, it looks like as of right now, there's still the head, shoulder, chest, boots, and glove.
So I guess if you're going to do cloth armor, you're going to want to do gloves or bracers or something that's not going to be that thin.
Yeah, for the most part. I think the only exception is if like you want to try for maybe like a piece that you don't see drop off the beginning bosses, that you might be like hard to get, and then you can catalyst it. But I think it's like what 4 or 6 weeks after the raid starts.
As always, I think rings are probably going to be the best sort of boosted crafted item just because you need 2 of them and they'll be, harder to come by than just a single item.
Yeah, I think rings are going to be super good. The tinkers look solid, or the engineering stuff looks solid. I mean, there's going to be benefits for everybody, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. So the big thing that I see is probably going to be an issue is that everyone's going to be wanting to put points into crafting armor, and nobody's going to be making the high quality like materials to make the armor. So, like in particular, you need high quality spell thread, or high quality thread and high quality bolts of cloth.
And you have to specialize into that as well just to make that?
Yep, just to make it, you have to specialize into it.
So if you specialize into it, you can't make anything with it. You just have to sell it? Because you just don't have the points?
I think it's kind of going to be one of those things where you're going to want to sell it because I think they want like multiple people to be, or gearing together to craft like the best item that you can. At least right off the start, that's going to be the case. Eventually, you can do it by yourself.
I think that's one of the things they want, like coordination amongst guilds of, you're doing making cloth, you're doing, this piece of armor, you're doing that piece of armor, that sort of coordination.
Pretty much like, one person is crafting armor. Everybody else, if you're just an alt, maybe think about making spell thread. Guild will buy it off you. Stuff like that. It's the exact same thing for like every profession. It's kind of rough to think about because one, they haven't even tested the work order system, so we don't have no idea how that's going to work. But I imagine, like I said, you're going to buy, if you're going for just armor, you're going to have to buy, your other high-end stuff off of somebody else just to be able to craft it.
It almost seems like it's more profitable just to be the ones who be able to make the higher quality material rather than actually making the armors.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think for the most part, if you're looking at crafting stuff, being able to craft a material means that you're going to be able to sell more of it in the very beginning. I think that like if you're trying to sell a mythic piece of armor, you're going to get like a huge bit of gold all at once.
It seems like they're trying to make it so that you can't really monopolize the trade on a single character. Like maybe you could do it on several alts, but not on a single character.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I said, they may change it up in the future, but there's a very limited amount of points that you can get. And as of right now, I think, maybe if you go balls to the walls, you'll get like 100. And that was just what I needed to max out enough to make just a pair of gloves at the max rank. Engineering is kind of the same way. They've got all these different things. The bombs aren't as cool as they originally had them set. I think a lot of them have actually been changed to being outdoor use now. So they'll work in some dungeons, but like some of the bombs had a death grip effect. Some of them, I think it was sticky warp grenade. Yeah, throw it at a location, attaches to surface or a nearby enemy, then swaps your position with that and whatever you hit it with. There was a lot of cool effects, but they kind of took them out, so I don't think you'll be able to use most of them in Mythic Plus or in raids anymore.
Do they have that thing? I've seen it on Wowhead, the little bot. It's called it's a
The savior.
abbreviation. Yeah, abbreviation is Savior. It was epic quality. It was a purple.
Is that the bot that like rezzed people?
Yes.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I don't know if I bothered learning it.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
all it's just like a wipe prevention.
Yeah, that's stuff that I like to have for with engineering because it's just so handy and you can good utility.
Some of these I don't really understand what the point of it is. I think I don't know why you would want to use this.
That one looks like maybe PvP if you're ranged. It's either a root or a knockback. So
Yeah, but it seems like they also have to be using this.
yeah, it is kind of weird.
This one. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
That one, it just looks like a weird charge.
This one just guarantees their next tinker effect will actually work. I think this one actually does, yeah, a decent bit of damage. And then there's your Invis Pot one. There's supposed to be a lot more of these, but I'm not sure where they are. And then these, like, crates of grenades, all they do is they just make multiple copies of these. There's nothing, like, special that you get out of them.
There's the neural silencer Mark III.
Make you immune to some annoyances. The biggest thing with engineers, it seems like, is you'll get access to some bombs that they're going to be right. You'll get access to the portable workbenches, which are going to be awesome. There's
What
one.
do the workbenches do?
So for every crafting profession, you have to be next to one of your, or like whatever your profession's bench is. These are all going to be like throughout the capital city, but they look like these basically. That's the only way you'll be able to craft that particular piece of whatever you're going for. So these are just if you want to do something like in a raid or, you know, outside somewhere else, you can just throw it on a workbench and it'll let you do it.
Right, the new thermal anvil.
Pretty much. Trying to think. There was one other. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. So let me look real fast. But it's like the best thing that engineers can do. I'll have to find it. So engineers can build this basically like little gun thing, and it'll allow you to capture elementals. I think everybody profession-wise is actually going to need it, because it's the only way you'll get some of these like special elements that it seems everybody uses for crafting. And it's going to be for more of the high-end stuff, so I know they make that. That's going to be kind of their major things outside of, you know, some of the little tinker stuff. I don't think that there's really anything bigger outside of that. I know they'll have like their, or I don't think they have the battle res anymore.
Well, they'll have the wipe prevention.
Yeah, they'll have the wipe prevention. I don't think they have like just that. You don't have to use the battle res by itself.
Yeah, there's the schematic savior.
Yep. They make a lot of toys.
I'm still curious as to how you anger the robot.
Still, everyone's still trying to figure that out. Yeah, there's portable alchemist bench, portable tinker workbench, another
There's also
toy.
the magazines for darts and stuff.
Yeah, these are just whenever you heal something, you fire a healing dart. It looks like it just gives you kind of a little buff to like maybe an extra off heal. Those embellishments are but go in.
I'd assume the dart gives a heal over time or something, but
Yeah, depending on what item you're crafting, it'll let you put that embellishment on it over here. Because it's just training matrices. And then, like I said, in terms of these, so there should be profession trees all on Wildhead if you want to look at it. But this will just be your, what was it? Engineering is 10% faster. Apparently you get extra scrap if you throw a bomb. So these will just give you little bonuses. Learn how to craft or use spare parts.
well, it looks like it gives you an initial bonus plus a stacking bonus for each point you put in.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they all of these have different little bits and pieces to them, so you'll just want to look over, see, kind of get an idea of where you what you want to do with it, and then kind of plan your route to it. They're adding like a lot of RP, it seems like, to this, so that we are actually using professions throughout the entire expansion. I don't know what they'll do, you know, when item levels increase, so I guess we'll just have to wait until then. Or they'll probably just throw in something that lets us kind of like with this last season. It'll just increase the item level once you throw it in with the recipe itself. Anyone got any questions or anything currently?
So basically, right now, professions are done like they are now, where you have to make so many things and you skill up with each item you make, or every 5 items you make by points.
No, sorry, can you say that again?
To start with, professions are done by points, just like they are every other expansion, up to like 100 of 100, and then beyond that, what? How do you get? Then it's drop recipes or what?
No, so as of right now, like if you learn like so the every tailor, every your tailor vendor will give you so many recipes. Actually, let me hop on the level 1 so you can see that.
Well, I just learned leatherworking, so I'm looking at it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, leveling up the profession is going to work basically the same as it does right now. However, in order to get the specialization knowledge for that second tab, you will need to craft every item at least once.
Yeah, so that gives you the knowledge for the specializations. As for like the actual like crafting something yourself.
Yeah.
So like these will basically your trainer will give you recipes up to 50. Once you get to 50, that's it. You don't get really anything else. At that point, you're just getting, they basically said they don't want like max level to be just like something that you have to hit in order to start making like the best item level stuff. You could technically be, I think it's like 60, like just halfway through, tailoring and build a mythic item level because it's going to be more based off of the specialization that you go for than your actual rank within that profession.
Okay. Now, cloth just drops off anything you're killing right now.
Yep, as of right now.
Okay, so the dragonflight cloth, does it have to be? You have to kill stuff in the dragonflight area or any area?
In Dragonflight, so it's kind of like with every expansion. Whatever items that you're looking for are going to be tied to that expansion's location.
Okay, here's my last question, and I'm sorry. How the hell do I get to Dragonflight? I've tried taking the boat. It puts me in the water and then brings me right back to the beginning.
Oh, what character are you on the beta?
Yeah, I'm logged in right now.
What server did you make a character on?
I believe it was, honestly, I don't remember. Let me log out.
Yeah, you want to double check because I think if you're on the beta, if you make a character on Valdraken, that's just for like the end game testing. If you're trying to go over to Dragon Isles, you'll want to make a character on the other. So,
Okay, so Kyranos or Tierhold?
yep, you'll want to make one on one of those two characters, and that'll actually let you test Dragon Isles and leveling.
Okay, so which one's you're Horde? I'm Alliance. So, but is it the same two realms for Horde and Alliance or no?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, they just have it split up that way. If you know whether or not you're testing Mythic Plus and raids versus if you're testing the leveling experience.
Okay.
So I leveled up a little bit with tailoring up to 10. Buy some stuff. But yeah, it's the same way that it was last time. Some items will give you 3 points. Some will give you 2. based off the profession, like I said, I'm using rank 1 stuff in here. If I swap it, and that's 308. If I swap it to rank 3, 310, bumped up to another level. It's the first time I crafted it, so it's the first craft bonus.
Okay.
And you only get these up until about 50. The rest of the recipes you'll get from like world quests. I don't think there's a lot of there might be like a few recipes that are tied behind reputation, but I don't think it's like super deep into the trees.
Do you know if the recipes or some of them are BOP or are they all are BOP or BOE?
Some of the recipes you can buy off auction house. So somebody might drop, ability to make cloth gloves, and you'll just have to look on AH and find it.
Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen that. It says work in progress, and it's got a big X across the screen.
Oh yeah, I've got some of the cutscene stuff is not complete. So there's I know somebody was interested in blacksmithing. That's going to be like the big one for the expansion, I think. Blacksmiths are going to be in pretty high demand because of all the weapons they can make.
Oh, they're actually going to be able to make weapons?
And do you feel it's not worth bringing tailoring from, 'cause that's what I had in Shadowlands. Do you think it's not going to be great to take? Should I take a different profession?
Oh, I'm 100% taking tailoring. So blacksmithing is going to be kind of the big money maker because of the fact that it's going to be making weapons, and they're like relevant weapons. You'll make a mythic item level weapon, and that's huge for your particular character. But the other professions, so in my personal experience, I think tailoring is going to be the easiest to get stuff off of because everyone's getting cloth. You can just buy it off auction house half the time when you need it. Leatherworking is going to be super hard because they have leather and mail that they'll be able to make pieces for. But they don't have like reduced costs for their specializations. So they just have a ton more. They also have a literal shit ton of different materials they have to gather, which are all different quality. So that's going to be kind of sucky for them. The same thing with blacksmiths. You can make the weapons. They're going to be pretty difficult to make. And I think that's one of the reasons they put the limit. I think there's like 5 items that you can put on with that are like crafted epic items. And if you use a blacksmith weapon, it counts as 2. I think that's what the limit is. I'm not 100% sure.
You have unopened items in your collection.
And tracking options have been simplified.
What is it? Yeah, so like this is blacksmithing. These are literally all the different ores and whatnot that you can get in the different qualities. And that's not including like some of the elemental stuff that you might need.
Does that say 100 or 1,000?
Oh, that's 1,000. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
once
I don't know if he had mentioned it, but as of this patch, specifically this patch, the pre-patch coming on Tuesday, and definitely with Dragonflight, all the new stuff is going to be stacking to 1,000.
Yep.
And have you talked about reagent bags?
I have not. So reagent bags it's just like the same thing with the reagent slot in your bank if you use that. But it's something you actually carry around. I don't think I have a reagent bag on this character just because it's not like a live character, it's just for testing professions. But all it is like if you remember the old mining bags and herbalism bags that you used to be able to equip, When you get reagent stuff, it's just going to go straight into that bag, so you'll be able to carry it around with you without it affecting your main 5 bags.
But yeah, they added a new slot just for reagent bags.
And on top of that, because everything is stacking so high now, it'll be easy to carry around most, if not all, of your materials with you at all times.
Pretty much. It's going to make it nice. You'll still have to craft it at particular locations, but it is what it is.
Can you still craft with reagents that are in your bank or no?
Oh,
should
I'm
be able to,
sure.
yeah. So kind of another example. These Primal Chaos and Sparks, I don't really know. Not 100% sure where we get them, because this is supposed to come from Valdragon, and they haven't opened the city for us yet. And I think this is just something that you'll get for war quests, but you'll need 120 of them to build or build items. Or at least those are two-handers. I don't know if. Yeah, so this one will take 40, and it's just a. Oh. I don't. These seem all messed up, so I don't really know how that's going to work for blacksmithing. But another big example, 386, but I'm using max item level mats. I'm using low ones, 384. Also, I have no idea if I can even. Oh, so this is, 100 for. No, this is my current skill is 100. To build it at max skill is 3. So kind of give you an idea of what it looks like for using profession stuff. Let me get some points real fast. So I got 100 points, specialized in weapons. This was what, Claymore? Alright, so now I'm getting 1 point per, 1 point for a skill per crafting. Max this out. Now if I go back, as opposed to the 100, it's 3. So I'm getting closer to being able to make a quality 3 one. This one's blade.
Now, those charges that you just used to get 30 skill points in that, like you're doing there, 30 in long blades. Is that just because it's a beta and it's just letting you test it?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a beta item.
So in the real WoW world, you'd have to make 30 different items to get that.
Yep, so you need to make 30 different items to get this, another 30 for this, another 30 for this.
Okay.
Or you can get points for like world quests and the inscription stuff.
Yeah.
But now my skill's up to 205, so now if I crafted it using best, it'd be 389. If I threw one more in there. Oh yeah, your skill goes up based off of like what or the reagents that you're using. So 205 with rank 1, with rank 3, 280. If I found what's illustrious insight. Don't remember where some of this stuff is.
Down there at the bottom on your bag, where your bags are. What's that last bag slot for?
This is the reagent bag.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking, but I saw all your reagents in that other bag. Do you just have that many reagents?
Yeah, I just have everything kind of sorted into here just for shits and giggles.
Alright, not trying to troll, I was just curious.
No, you're fine. Here's all the different gem or jewel crafting stuff. It's going to be working the same for the most part. So really, that's the biggest thing. Like I said, I've gained 100 points in my skill and almost can craft a rank 5 from for just that. But obviously, you can't do that for every single item. So you'll just want to kind of plan out what you want to look at or what you want to go for, and if that's your end goal to make weapons, throw it in there. Just remember that you're not going to have easy access to the materials that's actually going to craft that item.
The blade that you make, if you're a bladesmith, the blades will be BOE, won't they, or will they be BOP?
They will be BOP, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, so they are BOP. This is where work orders come into play if somebody else wants to make it for you. Or if somebody else wants it and they're willing to buy it, they'll put in a work order for this to be made, provide whatever materials they have. And you'll just, go in, fill it, and they get the item.
It's kind of the newest version of the like not to be traded slot in the if you're trading with somebody, where somebody can enchant your gear and you don't have to worry about them stealing it or anything.
In addition, it's also good if you need a specific piece of gear crafted, you can put in a work order and say, hey, I need this piece of gear crafted at this item level. And then as soon as somebody comes on who can make that, they see that, they say, hey, I can make that. They just go ahead and craft it, and it auto-populates. They get the gold, you get the item.
From what they originally said way back when they announced it, they did talk about you could restrict it to guild only or not. So if you know somebody in the guild specializes as a crafter, you can have them do it or just open it up to anybody.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately they haven't tested the work order system, so that's going to be fun when that actually comes out.
Oh, I know, right?
But I think the goal probably, or at least should be considered, to try and do, guild crafts first.
Of course.
yeah.
Is that what the whole work order system is going to be for, say? And again, I haven't really looked too much into this beyond what's been shown on stream so far. But say if you're trying to craft something, you put out an order for certain parts and or materials you need for it to kind of, as a group, make it, that kind of thing, or?
I think the idea is to replace people, in trade chat or guild chat asking, hey, can anybody make this for me? I've got the materials, I'll tip you. So instead, it's actually like it prevents scamming because it is a actual game system of I put in the materials, you come in, use your skills to make it, you get the gold, I get the gear, everybody's happy.
Yeah, I believe it's got to be in something similar to Auction House. I don't know if it'll be directly in the Auction House, but you'll literally can just sit there and see, somebody wants, a sword made, and they have all the materials, but some of the BOP stuff that you have. Then you can go ahead and craft it. Some people might have, other materials or have everything minus, one particular thing that you've got.
Or they might just have different professions for whatever reason.
Yep.
Because if you're, let's say you took herbalism alchemy on your warrior, but you need a sword made by a blacksmith, you buy the materials in the auction house because you can't find the specific type of sword you're looking for, but you can buy the materials for it and put that on a work order.
Yeah, I think work orders are going to be the main way people get from, that 50 to 100 range build out.
I'm sure there will be a lot of people that, barely play the game, but all they do is sit around and answer work orders and the whatnot. It would be a good way to make money.
Oh, for sure. And, it goes as well that once if you're sitting at level 50 out of 100 for your profession and you're using, rank 3 stuff, you should be able to craft about the best stuff there, or the best things you can make. Once you get to like 100 out of 100 for skill or for your profession, you can kind of slack a little bit in terms of that stuff. You won't always need to use like the highest quality item for every single craft that you make. So it's kind of a little bit of a strange balancing act with it, at least at first.
All right. Well, we're about at the hour mark. Does anybody have any remaining questions for him? Okay.
No questions. I just want to say thank you for sharing your information with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of information that's kind of all over the place right now. Obviously, this stuff could literally change in this next month. I think if there was one takeaway I would have for you guys is, if you want to focus on something in particular, just do a little bit of research on what path you want to take for specializations, and then kind of, flesh out the idea from there.
I would put out one more thing before we call it today. I will say that just a reminder, pre-patch is coming on Tuesday. I already posted about this in Discord, but I wanted to remind you guys pre-patch is coming. So what I would recommend everybody do is take a screenshot of your interface and any hidden bars you have as well. Take a screenshot of the talents that you've chosen, all that stuff. Because when you log in on Tuesday, things are going to be a little funky and you're going to have to reset everything. So just be aware that that's coming up and that you will be having to reset all that stuff, and try and just be careful.
If you have the time and bandwidth, you should be able to download the PTR and play with it there. If you want to do that before everything goes to hell on, the actual live server.
Yeah, this is what everything's gonna. These are pretty much most of the options that you have. Minus, I think you can add like up to 8 action bars.
And you can also save and import loadouts or layouts. So if you see if somebody has a good layout that you want to copy, you can just ask them for the string, and they can send it to you. You import it, and you have their layout. So.
Well, while we still have you, Renny, is there any like last minute notes that you can think of that you want to go over before we end your workshop?
Nope. Like I said, I think if you're looking at, I will say this: if you're looking at making gold, don't focus on making the big items. Focus on making the pieces for those items.
Like for
Crafting
engineering.
materials.
Yeah. So like, and this goes about like this is also like you'll need you'll get specialization points for mining and stuff too.
Yeah, did
Like
you
it's not just.
Did you go over gathering at all?
No, I didn't because I completely spaced on it, to be honest.
I mean,
but just to give you a quick over, I mean, it's gathering. It's all it is you'll get either you'll get more ore or you'll get like special elemental stuff for it, which is
Yeah.
like some of these different ores.
Yeah, the one thing that I wanted to point out with gathering is I don't know which wing it is, but I know there is a talent that you can pick up where you can actually harvest minerals and herbs while mounted.
yes,
So that's not going to be restricted to just druids anymore.
that makes me very happy.
I don't remember. I don't know if that one's for mining.
It is. I think it's in the first wing. Yeah, I think it unlocks after you unlock I think it's to the right. Like, do more nodes appear as you level up in the tree?
No, they're all maxed out.
Huh.
I'm wondering if it's a.
Because I remember seeing a video and he went over that.
Yeah, I remember.
It might be a dragon riding talent.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what it is. In fact, that's exactly what it is.
Well, because it was individual for herbalism and mining.
Hmm.
I'll look into it. I'll
Okay.
post in general if I find it. And I'll tag you in it, Renny.
Bam. Yeah, I wasn't aware that they had something like that. I'm not surprised, but
Oh, and FYI, I will be on most of the day on Tuesday, especially after the patch, after the servers go live. So if anybody has any questions or concerns about the interface or anything or any of the changes that come with the patch, I will be on to answer any questions you might have.
And I have a question for you, Renny, from Autumn. Based on your personal opinion, I believe you said it earlier, it was like blacksmithing, but what is your personal opinion of the best profession going into Dragonflight, either long term, short term?
so my best profession going into it on the short term is going to be tailoring.
Okay.
Um, just because everybody basically gets cloth. You know, you don't have to spec into it in order to get the particular or the materials for it.
Right.
So I think in terms of that, it's going to be the easiest to get everything you need for it. In terms of long term, I think that always goes alchemy.
Okay.
Alchemy especially have a lot of like crazy potions and whatnot, and since you have different quality of stuff now, that gives different effects. Alchemy is going to be pretty big for anything from your casual player to like the hardcore person that wants to spend the extra gold on an extra 10 stat per minute or something like that.
Right.
Oh, and are there still some professions that you can make mounts with, or that you've heard of?
I haven't seen any that make mounts. It seems like everybody makes a ton of toys,
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen
but
any.
I don't think anybody's making mounts just because you're only going to be able to use your dragon riding stuff, and I think they're trying to focus on the customizations for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, speaking of speaking of that, Inscription does have customization options that you can unlock for each of the drakes.
Oh yeah, I think Inscription has that, and they have the missives and Darkmoon cards. This is gonna be like the biggest thing for them.
Yeah, those Darkmoon cards are gonna be huge. Um,
Always.
do you want to elaborate on the Darkmoon cards and how they work?
Yeah, big thing with Darkmoon cards. I don't know if they drop or if Inscriptions just have to craft like packs. Um, I think if they do drop, it's gonna be finding some in the auction house. Inscription can craft the decks or something else. Then Inscription can craft, they can keep upgrading the deck. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like an actual like battle pack or something like that they renamed it. But it just takes your Darkmoon card deck that you're using and keeps upgrading it to like, heroic raid, mythic raid item level.
Yeah, and you can get the basic Darkmoon card and then just like upgrade it further to like the deck box or something.
Yeah, deck box, that's what it's called. That's the like better version of just like the base Darkmoon card trinket that you'll get. Honestly, I mean, all of the professions right now are looking like they're going to be pretty valuable. The main reason I say tailoring is because it doesn't need a gathering profession. Same thing with enchanting.
Yeah, and something else I'm not sure if you really touched on a whole lot is a lot of the primary professions are going to feed off each other. Like, I can't remember like who makes what, but like engineers will make some of the armor for a blacksmith, and then like a blacksmith will be able to make something for a tailor. Did you go over the profession armor at all?
Yeah, we went over it a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, so engineers will make like for tailors, I think it's the like scissors that they can make. Um, if you have like or your one profession is going to be able to build one piece of profession armor for it, and that gives you like the inspiration multi-craft stuff, but you're not going to be able to make all of your pieces. You'll have to buy them from other professions.
Yeah, and with that elemental soul gathering thing earlier, I know jewel crafters are probably going to be another popular one because aside from crafting into gems, you can specialize in like glassworking, and they're the ones who actually going to make the jars that capture the elemental souls.
Yes, thank you. I don't. I think I said engineer, and I don't think that's correct. Now that I
No,
think
no,
about it.
it is correct. The engineers make the device that sucks the soul out, but you need an empty soul jar, which are what jewel crafters make.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're definitely correct. I just wanted to touch on that.
That sounds interesting.
So would you
Yeah.
recommend two crafting professions or crafting and gathering?
It depends on. I think for this, you're definitely if you're gonna take a crafting profession that needs like profession or needs stuff, unless you're sitting on a ton of gold to bankroll it, I would probably gather the gathering profession.
Yeah, and that's more of a personal preference too. Like if you want to just go double gathering, one crafting, or double crafting, that can kind of play into how many alts you have. Like, you can have one of your characters be a skinner, and then send all your leather working to like one character. Um, I also have another question from Autumn. Uh, what are the bag sizes going up, and have you also touched on the reagent bag?
We touched on the reagent bag a little bit, but just as a reminder, it goes in the sixth slot that's down here, and it works just like the reagent bag in your bank. I guess the main difference is, once pre-patch comes out, things stack up to 1,000. So it'll take up even less room than it did before. But it's just going to be, an extra bag outside of your main five that's going to hold all of your stuff, automatically, go into it. So same thing as like back in the day when they had soul shard bag, herbalism bag, stuff like that.
And what is the biggest new bag that we're gonna get?
I believe as of now it's 34.
Cool.
But does that mean it goes up by 2 from this expansion? Or
Yeah.
is it
Yes.
staying the same?
Yeah,
Well-
it goes up by 2.
Yeah, currently we have 32 as the biggest, so we're just gonna get 8 additional slots, which is kind of lame. Should go up higher.
Yeah, I mean, they might have another bag that we just haven't seen, or I may be forgetting, but I believe it's just currently 32.
I think it usually goes up by like 2, and there's usually like a regular tier and upgrade tier. So like right now we have the shrouded and light weave, with the shrouded being 30 and shrouded being 30 and the shade cloth or whatever the fuck it is being 32.
Yeah, no, you had it. It was the lightless, but
I would. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, based on like what Evan was saying, there's a very good chance we might see 36. Maybe I'd be nice to go up to 40 even. Cool to see a legendary
I wouldn't.
bag.
I wouldn't be surprised if we went up to 36 because normally you see an epic bag at some point.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I think we'll definitely see 36 this coming expansion, but it might not be in the first patch. It might be down the line.
And it might end up being one of those like unique equipped types of bags.
Oh, don't say that. Boo.
I said might. I said
I
might.
will say
I'm not saying that it should be. I'm saying that we might see it that way.
Everybody
Right.
I will
jump
say
in.
as well. So like these are the 32 slot bags. It's just base materials. These Azure Weave bags, if you remember Mooncloth, it's the same thing.
Oh.
You can like make Azure Weave bolts for this, and it's gonna take like a day's worth of crafting. So, or maybe 2 days if it takes 3, because I think it's 12 hours each time.
Oh, one other thing I had to mention was to answer a previous question as far as like mining and flat herbalism and things like that. As long as you have a spare profession slot for one of those, especially during leveling, I would pick those up because that gives experience. So if you can take one of those while you're leveling, I would.
So, Renny,
Yes.
so since we're making reagent bags and doing herbalist bags and whatever, are they gonna get rid of the one that's in your bank already, or do we also get to keep that and move the stuff from the reagent bag to the bank?
Oh,
Or
it's
how does
staying.
that work?
It's staying in place.
Yeah, it's staying. So you'll just have the reagent slot and the reagent bag.
It's the reagent tab in your bank right now.
Yeah, that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But it looks like they're just adding an extra bag slot for your character, but that extra bag slot has to be a reagent bag.
Hey,
So
Renny.
let's.
Oh, sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I said, so let's say that we fill up both the reagent bank and the reagent bag. Can you put a bag in its place of like in your actual bank as well, of the reagent bag, or can you not do that?
I think you could, but I think it's just going to be the exact same size as like the other bags. So,
So
so
are you
are we going to be able to expand our reagent bank at all?
they haven't said anything about
I
that.
doubt that just because it's so large.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're asking, can you put a reagent bag into a regular bag slot in your bank? Probably.
Yes, yeah, that.
I'm logging in right now. I'm gonna test that.
I don't see why they wouldn't let you, but at the same time, you can put reagents into a regular bag. I mean, you can do it for organizational purposes, sure. But
Yeah, I got OCD.
Are you doing that right now, Renny? Testing it?
I'm testing it right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see.
Renny's got it. Thanks, Walls.
Oh, okay.
so there's no increased size.
Yeah. So if you go to your main bank, can you put a reagent bag in the regular slot? Like,
That's the craft one.
You gotta unlock the extra slot.
I don't know. I think I saw where was bags.
Search.
Don't be a stranger.
I'm guessing that you can,
Why not
but
both?
this will be good to confirm. And then when we're done with this, if we can go to mining or mining or herbalism, I'll show you where that talent is.
The answer is no, unfortunately. Trying to put a reagent bag in anything but the reagent bag slot comes back and gives you says that you can't do that. Specifically, it says reagent bags can only be placed in reagent bag slots.
Interesting.
That's a little lame.
Well, still do it on the stream just so we can visually see it for our sanity.
Yeah.
Now you gotta make another one. Not really.
There it is. So you can take it out, or you unequip it whenever you want.
Oh, is that one of the workshop tables? That looks cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So any of those slots, do they say read? I'm just guessing, like, but if you hover over all those red things in your bank, the bag slots,
Yeah.
they all just say bag slot, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
then same thing with these. This says equip reagent bag.
right. Are you on a miner or herbalist?
Apparently I'm on this, but hold on.
I'm on a miner.
Oh, that's okay. I wanted to
You
be
want
on
to
the
see it?
stream, yeah. Because I've already seen it. I'm doing this for other people. Or I should say Renny is doing this.
Right.
How convenient having them all in one spot. Like, leave them there.
Right?
Alright, so open up your mining. Like the skills.
Oh, hold on.
That's handy. Mining.
It didn't work. Hold on.
Okay.
Nah, it's a 2-minute cooldown.
You got another character?
Let's go on Engineer.
Because I thought you had one that could already do that.
Oh, yeah, I did. It was on my blacksmith as I log into the wrong character.
I was gonna say, isn't Engineer Taylor out in Engineer?
Wow, we've already got his beta characters memorized.
Something like that.
Makes it easier to stalk him.
Yeah. Okay, go to specialization. Now, over on mining process to the right, look at the very last node. Like, down there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, these do give different things. So
So
having
that's,
mastered, you are now able to gather ore while mounted.
yeah, so it's the same for herbalism. So that's where the mining or herbing while mounted comes from.
I forgot these actually give something.
Yeah, is that something you want to review on the professions? Like, all the different stats that they give?
I think we went over some of them. So like for gathering, deafness is if you get extra materials from like a node. So the more deafness you have, you might pick up 2 or 3 extra ore. Or I'm sorry, finesse is that. Which one is deafness? Deafness increases your speed.
Hmm.
Finesse increases how often you might get something else. And this is perception is if you get or if you find special reagents.
Yeah, and I believe from one of the videos I was watching, High Mountain Tauren get deafness or something as a racial. So if you want to make like a gathering specific character, I'm hearing High Mountain Taurens are going to specialize in that. Is that something you could do? Create a High Mountain Tauren for us and see if that's true?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. And then same thing with this. Inspiration is just it gives you a bonus. So you have a 5% chance of crafting something with another skill. So right now I'm at 181. I have a 5% chance to craft with 180 or 108 extra skill. So it would put me close to making, a max level one of these without actually having to be there. But that's just kind of by chance. But you could theoretically stack like inspiration gear and build or make a bunch of max level stuff without actually having the skill for it. It just kind of depends on if you get lucky.
Okay. Yeah, because the one video I was watching said like if you do High Mountain Tauren and you max out mining and herbalism, I guess it looked there. Yeah,
Yeah, it
mining
looks like mining skill
okay,
and
so
speed
it's
increased.
just mining. So that, but they're saying it's like practically instant mining with max mining skill on a High Mountain Tauren.
Well, looks like I know what I'm gonna be doing.
Right?
Drag through will get additional stuff.
Yeah, they get perception, I believe.
And yeah, Torn will get just herbalism skill and speed.
Okay, so it's both of the Taurens. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tarn originally were the herbalist because you could be a Tarn druid and just fly around and pick herbs real fast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like having cows, but it looks like I'm gonna have to have some. I'll have a cow.
Have a cow
Nice.
road.
1 cow.
Well, high speed, high mountain Tauren zooming around, picking things on a mountain, or
Yeah,
mining on a mountain and going off.
yeah. Thank you
tried
for
to
checking that.
Drive-by mining.
I tried to make a. I tried to reserve a Tauren road named Invisible, but yeah, it's already been taken. I should have known that. That one was too obvious.
Oh, yeah.
I had been taken even before Taurens were an option. It's a good name.
Yeah, these just give. Okay, a couple extra skill and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
So here's a question: Are the heirloom items still going to be usable?
They should
Not a-
still be usable, but I don't think they're going to have like ranks for the new expansion, at least not the start.
Yeah, the new
They
ranks.
should already have up to 60 available.
Correct.
Yeah, 60 is going to be the max on the heirloom. Like, you might have the heirlooms now, but they go to a certain eye level. Or a certain
would-
level.
I would
Yeah, I
expect
didn't know
them
if they were
to.
going to be available for Dragonflight as well or not?
Yeah,
Not-
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
They-
they're going to be available, but they won't be usable up to 70, from 60 to 70, until later in the patch cycle, probably the second patch of the expansion.
Okay, thank you.
That's presumably how it'll continue to be for the foreseeable future for heirlooms, where, yes, they'll be available up to at least where they currently are at the launch of the expansion, but it'll be, second or third major patch by the time they expand the cap up to the current max level.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, are you familiar with like the flasks and potions, Renny? Like, 'cause those are changing a bit in Dragonflight, aren't
Yeah,
they?
there's a ton of different changes to them. The big thing is that it's no longer like one flask just gives you, intellect or strength. Now they have like vials and they give different buffs depending on what you're using.
Do you have an alchemist that you could show a few examples of those?
I can show you off this vendor.
Okay.
So
Also,
like this
are we-
is
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What were you saying?
Also, with Alchemist, we are getting a different cauldron.
You're getting a different cauldron, but it's going to be for potions.
And potions are a bit different too, so.
Yeah, so potions like this one. Some of the potions actually have bad effects on you, so this is like toxic. So this one reduces the mana cost of all your spells by 100%, but also increases the cast time by 40% for 14 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And it's got a 5-minute cooldown.
So is that random, or like, how does that work?
It's just based off of like what you make. Like, what do you mean random?
Oh, so it's based off of what you make. It's not in a vial, and it's like use one and you get the buff.
Yep. So like for files, I think you're allowed 2. And so this one is like your intellect is increased by 94% or 94 for each enemy attacking you. Last 30 minutes and through death. Consume a second to add another 30 minutes.
Yeah, so
And then
like for instance, they're not going to be just like click one and you get the highest primary stat. You'll be able to mix and match kind of different potions to your play style.
Okay, so they'll be like Guardian and Battle Elixirs,
Yeah,
kind of.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
where you could use a Guardian and a Battle,
Yeah,
but
but
not
they're
two
not
Guardians.
they're not going to be guardian in battle. I believe it's just 2. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that, Renny. I'm not 100% on that.
And so I think it's kind of like you'll just be able to pick 2. Let me try it real fast because I haven't really had a need to actually test out these.
Cool,
Do
thank
they
you.
also let you use pots once you have 2 buffs or no? Like the pots that we do now, intellect pots and that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So does that say that it's a 30-minute thing? 30 minutes or maybe?
That replaced it
Oh.
entirely.
No, so it's saying that this effect is both a battle and guardian elixir.
Does it say that in the tooltip?
Yeah. Or no, it doesn't.
That's annoying. Okay, so my understanding of that was wrong.
Yeah, and they might have like a different version of it because I thought that's how it worked.
Because I believe they have, like, isn't there like a potion, tonic, and vial? Like, there's 3 different types now?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's what I was under the impression of. Here's some of the new potions, like Primal Chaos potion, or so they can exchange materials for potions. Let's see, there's that. Yeah, potions do like a whole bunch of crazy stuff now.
Yeah, I think alchemy is going to be big. Just because to me, it's gone through quite a bit of a overhaul of how it actually performs.
Well, alchemy is always in demand every expansion. So if you are an alchemist, you're going to be able to make some money off that.
Yeah, that's why I said alchemy long run. This expansion is going to be huge for money.
So I have one question about herbalism, since we're talking about alchemy.
Yes.
So how many herbs does it take to like make, let's say, the potions or the flasks or whatever? Is there gonna be more nodes, or is it just gonna basically be not as many?
They said that you should see like maybe 1.5 times more nodes than you see currently.
Right, and then also you'll have your skills that increase how many you gather from a node, and then there's going to be like elemental infused nodes that yield more.
So like say right now I'm getting like on some chances I'm getting 2 and some chances I'm getting 6. It can go higher than that.
Yep.
And keep in mind, you'll also have gear that you can get that'll be specifically like it only pops into being when you're gathering.
Yeah, I don't. I have to see if I can find the screenshot. I think, but I think the highest somebody's gotten up a node right now is like 16 or 17.
Wow.
Damn.
Dang. That'd make it easy.
Oh, they changed the keystone guy.
What is this?
They're testing Mythic Plus right now, so this is where you buy your keystones.
Oh, add affixes. Oh, that's cool. I wish I was kind of online. That'd be kind of cool. Just be like, I do never want to deal with necrotic. I mean, I know it's going away, but
I was gonna say, good news.
I think that's kind of cool. Like tailor your own keystone.
Yeah,
I wish
it'd
they
be
would
nice.
keep that.
Yeah.
So I see they're leaving the random epic upgrades on gear drops in yet.
What do you mean?
Oh, you're talking about like if you find like a quest item or something like that, like it has a chance
Well,
of.
yeah, to proc. I just had
Yeah, that's
be
still
proc
in.
to a purple.
Yeah, but
That's cool.
also raid bosses get their special loot sometimes.
Nice.
Trying to think of
Yeah,
any
which-
other professions that we haven't really talked about that you might be able to elaborate on. What about enchanting? Is there anything special going on with enchanting, or is it going to be pretty identical?
There's a lot of stuff with it, but if I can be honest, I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it because it was broken for a while in beta.
Okay. Well, can you give us a few examples of what you do know?
I could make a quick enchanter.
Cool. I was just trying to go over, have you like touch on every profession that you can?
I tested on like the main 5 that I have. That one I don't think I have anything on, but let me check.
Okay.
I legit wish it was this easy to make professions.
Right.
Instead of having to
Right.
find the person.
Alright, so it looks like some of the stuff you can get is crafting enchants, manipulate a lock. So I guess you can make lockpicks.
As an enchanter?
Yeah, you can make crystal magical lockpick.
Interesting. And I believe there's also enchanting for like profession tools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is an enchant tool. It gives finesse, deafness, perception. So
Yeah.
that was
Okay, so enchanters will be viable for increasing the new stats.
Yeah, all the major professions are gonna have their own crafting tools. You'll see when you open the crafting window, there'll be 3 little boxes up there that you'll be able to put crafting tools in.
Yeah, and we were talking about that earlier, how each profession will kind of like engineers will make the blacksmithing one, and blacksmithing will make like enchanting.
Yeah.
So every
so-
profession is going to interchange with each other for those tools.
So push comes to shove, if you need a specific tool, you can put a work order out for it. You can check in guild, see if anybody can make it for you, or you can just, buy it off the auction house.
I'm curious, Renny, if you hover over the armor slots up there, does it tell you where those slots come from? No. Okay.
Nope.
And
That would make sense.
if all else fails, Walls, use the crafting tab in Discord.
Yep.
So yeah, they got a bunch of like these are the new weapon enchants. They've got the like basic version.
Burning is back.
Yeah, burning increases a critical strike by 1400.
That's cool.
So these are all stats, and these like haste and speed
That's cool. Looks like
are very stat.
quite a bit of a change there. I personally I like the on hit procs like burning.
Here's your wand that you'll be able to make.
What are those illusions?
I don't really know what the
Oh, weapon
illusions are.
enchantments. Okay.
These are yeah, just splitting
Oh, so it's
enchanting reagents.
it's like milling for herbalism, but excuse me, for enchanting materials.
Yeah, enchanters can always like if they have 3 of one thing, I think they can shatter it for something or for the lesser material.
Oh, that's cool. Can you recombine them?
It doesn't look like you can.
Okay. What was that last category? Magical invention. Oh,
So this
okay.
is a companion. Oh, and there's a lockpick.
Oh, I just didn't read it before you scrolled.
And then these are ring enchants. So it looks like it's just ring, weapon, a couple of other items. Looks like boot enchant is just stabbing us, so everyone can get that.
Okay.
Or mounted speed.
And bracer is self only, right?
So I think bracers actually. It seems like you can do it for anybody.
Okay. Because I believe that used to be an enchanter only thing.
Yeah, this looks like it's now where you can put like one of your like avoidance, leech speed.
I think Racer is one of the ones for Shadowlands right now, isn't it though? Because it's like agility's on feet, like strength is on bracers, I think. Or
Intellect is on
intellect's on
bracers.
bracers,
Oh,
and
okay.
then strength on.
I thought enchanters always had one that they could cast on themselves, but nobody else.
I think they
have
used
some.
to.
They have sometimes, kind of like tailors with their spell thread on
Yeah.
like the shoulders and stuff.
Yeah, which that stuff is coming back. So like the old armor kits and whatnot for leatherworking and spell thread that tailors made, that stuff's gonna be back. So like the special enchants for legs and shoulders. It looks like there's not a whole lot of extra stuff that you can have on enchanting.
Okay.
And specializations, just extra enchants, it looks like.
And there will be guides for each specific profession up on Wowhead and the whatnot that will go into a lot more detail over time. So just keep an eye out for those if you have like serious questions that anyone else can't answer.
Why look at Wowhead when I got Renny?
Yeah. I got my Renny poo.
The fountain of knowledge. Wait,
You say
no.
that as I always keep Wowhead up.
Yes,
Wait,
the man who never sleeps.
no offense.
Distilling the information.
Ellie's the fountain of knowledge, but you are a very knowledgeable person.
He's the weak aura man.
You are the drinking
Yeah.
fountain of knowledge.
Fixer, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else you want me to take a look at?
No, I was just trying to, while we've got you explaining everything and have your questions, I'm just trying to have you run through as many professions and get all the knowledge we can out.
Will weak auras still be a thing in the new expansion?
I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just making sure.
Well, since this is your workshop, Rennie, do you have anything else you want to go over, or yeah, anything else, or anyone have any questions for him while we still have his brilliant mind?
I have a question about last workshop.
Yes.
I don't know how to work the add-on still.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I've been having kind of a crazy week with work, so I haven't had a chance to get that finished up. But I will chug a Red Bull after dinner, and I will get that knocked out for you.
Are you
You're
talking
good.
about
I'm in no hurry.
TSM?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how to use it.
Okay, I can help. We can, if you don't get it for Rennie, I can help her get it going.
I'd like to get back into it. I used to use it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And speaking of other workshops, if you enjoyed this workshop and you would like to see more, please hit up my DMs with topics you would be interested in learning about. Also, if you are